Robert, before we get into the meat and taters of this thing, I always do something a little fun that is
Yeah.
my nod to the ladies at the I've Had It podcast. I do something on my show called We've Had It. And let me give you the intro music.
Oh man.
Let me give you the intro music, and then right after that, I want to hear what you've had it with. Here we go. Robert, what have you had it with?
Oh man. Where to start? Oh my goodness. Right now, I will say I've had it with the, and we're going to get into this later on, but you already said, but I've had it with all the money in politics, really, especially when we're talking about, and I will, and not just, I know we're going to segue into that eventually, but just what it takes for the average person to run. I don't know if you've looked it up or if anybody knows listening what it takes to run, even for a local office, but I'm on the congressional side, and it's crazy, and I've had it with that because there's a lot of good people out there, and we end up never even hearing from some of those people just because, not because they're no good, but just the money just isn't there for them.
Not to mention that, ladies and gentlemen, he's being so modest. He's letting his background tell the story. This man is a 21-year
Oh,
veteran, and he's telling you, someone who served this country heroically and sacrificed is having a hard time dealing with the menagerie of the finances. I'm right with them. I'm right with you, Robert. And we had a partner of yours up here who's running for Senate in Oklahoma, Jasmine Thomas, and
mhm.
she mentioned that she's having to try to raise almost $250,000 to
Yeah.
get effective in that race. And it was never meant to be like that, Robert. So I concur with your,
Mhm.
I've had it too. I've had it. I mean, I'm thinking about one of these days. I'm learning from you all. I might run, but I'm like, I better step up my stock trading because if I don't, whew, Lord have mercy.
That's what it seems
So,
like. Yeah.
right. And ladies and gentlemen, as he said, we will get to that because I'm sure he's got a plan. That's why I call him the final boss of campaign finance reform. And Robert, we've had it today is kind of something we're going to talk about, but this is what I've had it with. I've had it with
Mhm.
rich people wanting to socialize the risk of getting in business, and then they want to capitalize on the gains. What
Mhm.
do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? I put this man face up here, Elon Musty Musk, because he's a prime example of that. So is Trump too, but right now I'm gonna pick on Elon. Elon got such fat contracts from the government to start Tesla, SpaceX, and now the Boring Company. I hate when rich people get indignant and want to tell middle class and poor, the hell with socialism. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Because when they tell you that, Robert, what they really are telling you is, I don't want you using the money I can get my hands on so that this government money that we're seizing from everybody, I can use it to risk this business. And if
Mhm.
I don't get this business to go, I ain't lose no money. But if I do get the business to go, I've socialized you guys as capital to carry on the risk. And now that I've made these capital gains, I ain't sharing nothing. So, Robert, I've had it. Tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm too strong. What do you think?
No, sometimes I think it's not even strong enough the way, just how deep some of it gets. Because one thing I tell people, and a lot of folks I think don't understand this, is that we look at it as middle class and poor. But I will say even upper class, they're not safe either. And one thing I go to, I don't know if for if you're not good at math, then this might not mean anything. But then again, at the same time, it's not that hard to understand too, because I think there's a lot of people out there who think they're, as we say, part of the club, but they're nowhere near it. And they're not, basically it's not billionaires against only the poor. It's basically the billionaires against everybody. And there's
Mhm.
people out there, I've come across a lot of people who think that if they're not poor, they're basically on the same level or almost on the same level as the billionaires.
Mhm.
And they're not. And one thing I do, and I just mentioned math. I said one thing I do to explain this to people and express this is that people don't realize how far away, even if you are a millionaire, even if you have $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, even if you have that, you're still closer to poor than you are to billionaire status. And the way to understand that is, let's look at And here's the math, everybody. But this is let's look at 1,000,000 seconds. 1,000,000 seconds takes 11 days. How much do you think 1,000,000,000 seconds take?
11 years.
32 years. How about that?
Wow.
32 years. Now, 1,000,000, 10 million, 100 million is further away from 1,000,000,000 than a lot of people think. They think that just because the numbers look like they're close together, no, you're not close to their status. So you're closer to us. The 1,000,000 seconds is closer to 0 than it is to 1,000,000,000. Even if you did 100 million, same thing. So that's why I say there's a lot of people who basically aren't poor think that they're on the same level, and it's us, it's billionaires against everybody else. So that's why I say, yeah, I'm on it. I agree with everything you're saying, because that makes perfect sense. It just, that's, we're their pawns basically.
Exactly. And people tend to forget, Robert, that we don't have to be their pawns, because we have a lever that we can pull called voting that could check their unregulated, unmitigated power. But oftentimes the Republicans are able to produce these great stories, and they use two things, Robin. I'll get you here later, but I'll just say this to close. They use two things to manipulate people into thinking they shouldn't get help from the government. One is hate, the other is religion.
Yes.
And when you combine those two things, it has been a winning strategy for the Republican Party for years, and it continues to be a cancer on democracy when you combine those two and then you subtract education.
Yeah.
So y'all let us know what you think. Please comment below. Robert's information is down there, and we're going to get him to the serious stuff.